Thank you, Senator Baldwin. Senator Hoeven.
Thanks, Madam Chair. So I'm going to follow up on comments by both Senator Bozeman and Senator Moran. And Secretary Torres Small, good to see you again. Thanks for being in our state and for a lot of the good work that you do. Appreciate having you here today. Senator Bozeman talked about 20-year average income. Now just think about that for a minute. That probably puts you 50% below your actual costs. If you were getting your, figure out your pay for the last 20 years and you're getting the average, the 20-year average, and then figure out what your expenses are today, your fuel, your fertilizer, and everything else, you're way below cost. So number one, across the country, that's what our farmers are seeing, right? And just to really pound home what that means. Second, point that Senator Moran made, he talked about drought. 48 states have reported drought this year. Last I checked, there's only 50. 48 states reported drought. So you can see the kind of stress that our farm, now everybody knows about the hurricanes and the disasters and all that, you see it on television and everything else, but that's the rest of the story that has really put our farmers and ranchers up against it. So the key here is that we not only provide this disaster assistance, but that you work with us, that USDA works with us so that we structure it right, not only in terms of making it effective to meet the need, but to help us get this farm bill done so that when our producers go in, and I think it was Senator Bozeman talking about it, or maybe one of the others, that they can get a plan and get credit to farm next year. We're losing farms at a high rate. And the farms we're going to lose as a result of these disasters and the drought and everything else are the ones that are on the edge. Those are the ones that get hit the hardest, right? So, I ask for your assurances that you will work with, because we've worked with WIP Plus, we work with the ERP, which is what Secretary Vilsack modified the program to be. And sometimes it's worked and sometimes it hasn't. But will you commit to work with this committee to structure this, not only for best advantage in the disaster package, but to help us get this farm bill done?
Thank you, Senator Hoeven, for your collaboration. It's a joy to get to work with you. When it comes to, I do want to briefly address the net farmer income, because when we talk about net farmer income, what I mentioned is the last 4 years, one has been a banner year, setting record numbers. The other three have all been as within the 20-year national average, but also higher than they've been since 2014. So there was a real lull in between 2014 and these last 4 years where we saw even lower net farm income. That being said, I have talked with farmers who are struggling. I know that we need to work to make sure that farmers both are able to make ends meet now and in the future, and we are committed to working with you in any technical assistance that's needed.
And I know you pretty well, and I know you understand the problem. I understand you have a job to defend some of the statistics that USDA is putting out there, but average expenses are way above that average income. That's a problem. Agreed?
We will continue to work together to drive down input costs, but net income includes costs.
But more importantly, how we structure, let's get to the heart of the question is your willingness to work with us now on structuring this the right way. I'm pretty sure the answer is yes, knowing you, but I want to hear it.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. The second thing is, and you've been to our state and you've been good about coming, we had not only drought but wildfires, and I don't know if you're aware of that, but our livestock producers, as well as livestock producers across the country, are going to get help. And so again, and I know you have knowledge in that area, but your commitment in terms of making sure that those livestock programs are addressed as well.
Yeah, so we'll continue to work to look at LIP and ELAP and what we can do for water hauling as well as transportation of cattle in the face of a disaster.
Okay, thank you. And we, again, on behalf of the Full Appropriations Committee, the Ag Appropriations Committee, and the Ag Authorizing Committee, we want to work closely with you on this. And so we appreciate you being here today. And again, your willingness to work with us. Director Criswell, how can we be sure that, by the way, you were in North Dakota in 2011 when we had flood up there. More than 4,000 homes in a relatively small community were flooded out completely. So, I know you know firsthand of what it's like to work on the ground with people that have been hard hit. How can we be assured that FEMA will fairly and impartially address every single person that's affected by any kind of disaster, given what happened, earlier after those hurricanes in the southeast. How can we be sure that you're on top of that and that kind of incident won't happen and that people won't be unfairly treated?
Yes, Senator Hoeven, yes, I spent 7 months in your lovely state with that disaster, and I know firsthand how people are impacted. And our goal as an agency is always to treat everybody fairly and equally and ensure that they have access to our programs. The incident that happened in Florida is simply unacceptable. And I have instituted an investigation. I have reached out to the IG and asked for an independent investigation of this incident. I have sent an email out to our workforce, and we have provided refresher training to all of our staff in the field to ensure that this type of behavior never happens again. People are at their worst day. They deserve their government to be able to help them, and you have my commitment to make sure that if we find any other instances, we will take appropriate disciplinary action.
Yeah, it is critically important that people understand that and that it's transparent so that they can have confidence in FEMA.
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair.